Hey fellow creators, Ben here from Cinder Studios, and consider this sort of a half vlog. I'm not going to move the camera around, I'm just working on this piece. So I'm going to talk about it and tell you about other stuff going on and stuff like that, so you can be entertained while I'm watching and I can still get through the vlog stuff. So stick around. So it's Sunday morning. This video is going to go up sometime later today. So yesterday when I got up, I had finished this painting, or at least mostly finished it. I'm going to go back in and touch up some highlights a little bit later, but it is mostly done. And in the midst of finishing that one, and actually I was thinking about it all week, but I was thinking about this sketch that I made earlier this year, sometime February. And it's a pretty loose sketch with a lot of flowy lines, and I didn't really originally intend to paint it, but I kind of kept thinking back to it, and I'm like, well, if I keep thinking back to it, I have to paint it. So what I ended up with, I'm going to stand up actually, because this painting's really kind of different technique-wise compared to what I normally do. Because I started out with a lot of loose color and glazing liquid, and you can see that a lot in the trees still, since I haven't gone over them yet. That's part of today's stuff, once I take care of a lot of this base land. But what I ended up with was a very free-form, loose, essentially sketch in paint. It's not a technique I use super often. It's actually something that a lot of professionals use, a lot of, I'd say other professionals, use, specifically those who do a lot more realism and build their compositions up from a looser base. I see digital artists do this a lot too. My man Cycred does this, I'm pretty sure still in a lot of his works when he's making stuff. But like not really having a huge level of sketching down on canvas and just kind of going with brushwork and just tackling it. And I found the switching up of the techniques really kind of freed my mind up in a lot of ways. I don't want to say I'm going to completely do that from now on, but I definitely want to utilize more of that going forward. And also in doing so, it's creating, at least for this piece, a somewhat more realistic look, while still being it's very brush heavy. It's rather than being a lot more precise the way I normally am, this is a lot more specific, I guess you could say. It's the best way to say it, or less specific, maybe. So I'm really kind of, I'm stepping back, I'm holding back on my brush, and really kind of letting myself experiment and play a little bit more with this, and it's been really, really fun so far. And thinking about the sketch all week, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I'm like, I want to put this on an easel, I want to step back, I want to get the paint really thin and loose, and just kind of go to town. And in doing so, I found a lot of different shapes and a lot of different places to put things. Like I came up with this whole idea of putting this dock down in here and a swamp and all this little village at the bottom. And I wouldn't have found that as an idea had I not gone through and done the looser brushwork. I just that whole idea wasn't even there, and it has changed. Like the figures were going to be right here, now they're going to be further back. Like all of these different changes, keeping things a little more interesting in that regard. So I'm also working on a new painting process video specifically for this. Some clip from this vlog probably will go into that, but I didn't want to interrupt my workflow too much, which is why I'm just doing this little mini segment today. And yesterday was busy, so I finished that painting in the morning, then I went to the grocery store, then I came back and started doing this. Or did I? Wait a minute. Yeah, and I worked really long too. I put out a very long session compared to what I've been doing lately. And then as a result of that, like being in such a good mood, I reached a certain point, like I gotta stop and eat lunch and you know, have something else going on in my day. But I was in such a good mood that I then also finally took my bike out for a ride, which I have been meaning to do for a while, and found out that the tires need replaced because I had inflated them a couple of weeks ago when I got this air pump. And then I rode the bike for 20 minutes and the tires were half flat. And I'm like, well, great. Now I need to get bike tires before I go out again. But it felt great to kind of, just be out and be, exercising around a bit more, you know. Um, and even in today now, like I'm still in a really great mood, and loving the extra, again, the extra brushwork and being able to be more freeform with this piece. So yeah, so next week, hopefully next week, there will be a process video for this, where you guys will see a lot more of those washy base layers and everything like that. But for the time being, I'm trying to just mapping that out and figuring out where I want some things and some other things. I should talk briefly here a minute about my colors. Because, oh yeah, that's the other thing. So when I stopped out at the grocery store, my original plan was to hit A&C Supply. But I'm like, I'm not going to make a trip all the way out there. The only thing I'm really going for is a single tube of paint. And it was specifically the Cobalt Turquoise, which it looks like I'm not even going to need the extra tube at this point. My goal originally with this piece was this to be heavy in blues and greens. And now it's heavy in greens and yellows, just based on, you know, how things went with the starting of the piece. So I'm using this color, and as a little tip, so to speak, you guys, if you've seen my videos before, you know I have a big shelf with all my paint colors lined up. And I think there's a false perception a lot of times that people can have that, oh, an artist that has all these paint colors is going to use all of them for every piece. And that just isn't the case. So for this one, I've got 4 colors, essentially. 5 if you count white. Let's see if I can't tilt this too far because I've got some liquidy stuff happening here. So I have the Cobalt Turquoise and Prussian Blue, which I've mixed together for this other blue here. And I'm grabbing all 3 of them for a lot of this. I have some Nicolazo Yellow, which is sort of my main yellow. When you mix that with white, it gets to be this nice gold, which is what I'm getting up in here. And then I have this orange, which is sort of the color that counteracts all of these. And this orange I've made out of a couple of high flows. I have Dial-A-Ride Yellow and Quinacridone Red, which is technically a violet, but it's very red anyway. And this resulting orange I really, really, really like. So as long as I remember to mess with that again, I definitely want to utilize that in a future piece. And I'm keeping my colors roughly the same here. Mostly, like, again, like this whole piece is relying on techniques that I generally do not do ever. And that's kind of why I'm having so much fun with it. So it's really in freeing me up in terms of doing techniques that are almost the complete opposite of what I normally do. I'm actually finding some new ideas and new processes in the midst of doing all this, which is cool, and I wanted to talk about that. So yeah, normally I'd ramble a little bit more, but honestly, I just really want to throw my music back on and kind of get moving today with this. So yeah, I hope you know at least the little tip about the colors, right? So I'm only using 4 colors. I didn't finish that thought. Plus GAC 100 and glazing liquid has some extra medium to keep things loose, and glazing liquid tends to reduce drying time for acrylics slightly, so it's giving me a little bit more freedom and working time. Actually, I come to think about it, a lot of oil painters do techniques like that where they keep it loose and then refine things down. But in doing it just with this piece, because like normally I do like a paint marker sketch and then before I jump into everything, but I'm starting to think maybe I should get away from that so I can keep the pieces more painterly and less sort of specifically refined. Or maybe I'll just do 1 or 2 pieces like this and go back to the old way or something. Actually, in the grand scheme of things, I'll probably end up finding a way to do some sort of a hybrid method. But yeah, just keeping things loose, keeping my brush wet and my brain working. I'm really just finding a lot of shapes in here. Like, again, because the sketch was a lot less defined, it's giving me the freedom to really kind of push color in ways that I don't normally do in my work. So if you guys had fun in this video, I know it's pretty short, little mini half vlog thing or whatever, but did want to give you guys something for the week as I was working. And hopefully next week, this will be a more dedicated process video where you guys will see this thing from start to finish. And if not, it'll be some other regular art video, probably because I'm still working on this piece. But at the rate that I'm knocking out this stuff today, and from between yesterday and today, there's no doubt in my mind that I will probably have this done by the end of next weekend. So stick around for that, and like it if you liked it. Comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And this has been from Cinder Studios, and I will see you guys next time. Keep on creating. I usually say that too. Sorry, I'm just like really focused in on this, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get back into this.